Tonight we report on how Grant County officials hope to show the fairgrounds septic systems work, and we look at the latest count of votes in the primary election. What's going on in sports, Bob?
A world champion was crowned at Cascade Park and Moses Lake last night, and the Mariners hand the Braves their 8th straight loss. Here's a peek at our Weather Center forecast.
And here in the weather department, we're looking for a little cooling trend that'll continue to take place. And a little gusty winds at times. That means the fire danger still is high. Even though we're cooling off, the tail's coming on up.
I'm Alan Troop. Stay tuned for all of this and much more on iFIBER 1 News.
From the iFIBER 1 HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER 1 News. Your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Grant County officials are hoping to convince the state the fairgrounds septic systems are not affecting the groundwater. Fairgrounds manager Jerry Gingrich and Grant County commissioners Richard Stevens and Cindy Carter said they hope to work with the State Department of Health to show the septic systems can work at the site. The plan came after the department required the county to make a decision about the septic systems, either connect to the Moses Lake City sewer system or change the current ones. The county is planning to pump the septic systems during the fair. It's estimated between 20,000 and 25,000 gallons of sewage will be removed from the fairgrounds every day. The pumping will start after midnight. If monitors continue to pick up contamination readings, it would show the septic systems is not the problem. On a sunny day, many people feel like taking their canine companions out to enjoy the weather. But when pet owners leave their dogs in the car to run a quick errand, the consequences can be deadly. Moses Lake officer Lucky Atkins says there have been as many as 20 reports in the past month of dogs left in cars in Moses Lake alone. On days where the outdoor temperature is in the low 70s, the inside of a car can heat up to well over 100 degrees in as little as 10 to 15 minutes, according to the Humane Society. With recent weather hovering around the 90s to lower hundreds, the temperature inside a car can skyrocket to over 110 degrees. Atkins says that dogs can last about 1 hour in a car before suffering from heat stroke. If the dog has water and all the windows in the car are left partially open with a breeze blowing through, the temperature could be low enough to be bearable. Atkins strongly recommends that people leave their dogs at home or with a friend instead of leaving their car windows open and vulnerable to theft. The leaders in the races affecting Grant County stayed the same after the second day of counting votes cast in the primary election. Clint Didier and Dan Newhouse continue to lead in the race to replace retiring Doc Hastings as the congressman for the 4th District of the U.S. House of Representatives. In Grant County races, Melissa McKnight continues to lead the race for assessor with 41% of the votes, and incumbent Lori Grammer trails with 30% of the votes. The majority of Ephrata voters, 55%, approved a 0.1% sales tax increase to pay for 2 new police officers. The Grant County Auditor's Office counted 12,865 ballots, with 1,200 votes remaining to be counted. To see the results of each race, you can visit us online at iFIBER1.com. A write-in candidate for Grant County Treasurer received enough votes to make it to the November election. Casey Cooper, a Moses Lake resident, received 189 votes during Tuesday's primary. He needed to receive 1% of votes cast in the race to be added to the general election ballot. He received 2%, according to the Grant County Auditor's Office. The candidate is still working on an announcement about his campaign. Cooper told a crowd at a July 24th rally he thought Grant County voters should have a choice for treasurer. Darrell Pheasant is seeking his 8th term as Grant County's treasurer. Pheasant recently announced he is running for the position as a nonpartisan candidate. He first took office in 1986. He is being challenged by write-in candidate Casey Cooper, who received enough votes in Tuesday's primary to make it to the general election in November. Pheasant stated he wanted to continue his work by providing efficient, cost-effective services to the taxpayers in Grant County. Since taking office, Pheasant created a $230 million investment pool for governments in Grant County, and he worked with the company TerraScan to get new tax software upgraded. Now let's take a look at people currently being sought out by the Grant County Sheriff's Office.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We will be right back after this.